Hello, good evening everyone, and welcome towards Matchday number 12 of the ESL Pro League North America Division, season number 6. And Pilly, we're back once again, another day of just normal Counter-Strike action, I would say, coming up. Not really much to look forward to most of these teams today, if I'm to be realistic.
I mean, yeah, but you can't really judge the games based on which teams are playing, to be honest. Like yesterday, we thought we would have like 2 banger series, but they weren't too exciting, so...
Complexity wasn't too bad.
Yeah. I don't know, although the scores were a bit back and forth and some of the rounds were alright, it was a bit disappointing to see sort of certain circumstances being lost by individuals making mistakes and stuff like that, or just all around somewhat silliness in the second map where one team just would not run out of money. But we'll see what happens in this this game and this 2 series that we've got coming up, because I think that you'll be surprised. I think some of them will be fairly interesting.
Yeah, I mean, we do have all 3 teams. I think this is the first time we've actually had all 3 developmental teams play together at the same time. So this is good. It's absolutely great to see, these 2 teams from the ECA Mountain Dew Developmental League now kind of versing each other. It'll kind of show exactly what they have, and I'm fairly certain that Rogue, who are versing Immortals first up, actually have a really good chance right now. They managed to find, I don't know, like probably the best timing. They now, Wrath has finally turned 16. Happy birthday, bro. It was, I think, his birthday about 7 or 8 days ago. So he's now 16, he can play in the Pro League. So now they've got the full kit of lineup. They've also brought in Cadian as well, or Cadian?
Cadian.
Yeah. I don't know why I say Cadian.
I don't know.
Is
he like some kind of golf caddy that carries people's clubs around?
Maybe he'll carry Rogue, who knows?
I'm hoping so.
Well, I think Rogue at the moment, they'll be quite confident coming to this matchup. In Immortals, obviously, not fielding their full 5 lineup. It's going to be so difficult, and I can go into that more later. And the second matchup for the evening, obviously, is Ghost Gaming. My favorite team, completely biased towards them, up against Splice. And Splice didn't have the best showing yesterday. Definitely have to wake up and at least demonstrate they've got something today to bring to the table and to make it competitive.
I reckon that will be a competitive game. I think it was a bit of a one-off that Spice completely got rolled. It's just the fact of first in Cloud9 and them sort of getting in your heads and being completely on top of, the skill versus skill matchup in terms of playing a team like Splice. But I think whenever Splice plays against a team of their level or sort of below their level, they'll always be in with a good shot.
All right, let's take a quick look at the standings of the Pro League so far, as we'll see which teams are near the top and near the bottom. So it seems like Optic is near the top so far. Ghost, Rogue, and Complexity all near the bottom alongside with Splice. And Immortals not that far off, and that's a quite drastic fall for Immortals, considering that at one stage, major finalists, they were looking so good. Lineups had to be changed due to player issues. And all of a sudden, it's now no longer an issue of probably making it into the finals. I mean, they'll still stay in the Pro League, but I don't think they'll be able to make it in the finals. 3-6 record. You've just changed your lineup. What do you do from here?
Yeah, I don't know about being able to make the finals, but I'm sure they're sort of just treating Pro League as sort of a warm-up for their team. Just they're playing out the rest of the Pro League with the stand-ins that they've chosen, and then they might try to change their lineup after that, or they might keep some of these guys. We'll see what happens. No one really knows what's happening with that roster, more or less, so we'll see what happens further on in the future, but for the moment, they're just going to be playing with the standards and filling it out, see if they happy with the lineup that they're going to be fielding going forward, or whether they're going to have to make more changes.
And for the rest of the standings, it's actually quite fascinating to see that outside of Optic and potentially Misfits, it's still a very open field in who can make it to the finals towards Odense and Denmark. It's like Optic so far, yeah, they've had, I'd say, more easier games in comparison towards other teams, but they're making the best of it. 10-2, going to be happy with that. Nearly halfway through the season, you just got to win probably about 60% more if you're Optic, and you're pretty much home clear.
It's interesting that we're seeing like Luminosity doing so well in the standings, when yesterday we were watching them play Complexity and we were saying stuff like, oh, we think that they're around on the level of Complexity, maybe a little bit better, and this could be a competitive game and stuff like that. Complexity's gotten better and Luminosity's already a fairly well-established team. But when you look at the actual standings, I mean, I know they did get the 2-0 of Complexity, so they're really pushing themselves up the standings while pushing Complexity down, but standings-wise, Luminosity is already in the top 8, and you'd expect them to try and go for those 1-1s against teams that are better than them, and they've shown pretty good consistency at being able to beat the teams that are about on their level. So they're actually in with a pretty good shot at getting through to the finals this time, I reckon.
Absolutely, and we saw Complexity with we're down kind of near the bottom alongside with the other ECA Mountain Dew leagues, which, you know, the 3 teams, it was Rogue, Ghost Gaming, as well as Splice, who made it through. I think Splice were under a different name, or were they... Do they qualify as Splice?
Not sure, really.
Because I know, say for example, for Ghost Gaming, they qualified as Bees Money Crew. For Rogue, I'm fairly certain it was Enigma 6.
Yeah,
And for
something
Splice,
like that, yep.
I'm not completely sure. But Mountain Dew League, it's... I mean, now, I think this season as well, there is Swag, Days, and, like, AZK's team that's playing through. And
Yeah,
they've also
GX.
got... They got my boy Poyo.
Yeah.
This is always... Which is...
They just
obviously
beat
Poyo,
they just beat Muffin Lightning the other day.
which is X, Rush, / the Foundation, / multiple other names.
Yeah, yeah.
Back towards Muffin Lightning, but...
I think Hayes is playing in that team now, so it was Hayes versus Dazed.
Oh, well, it was Days that won over Hayes, 16-13. Close match, but there is a developmental league, and that kind of feeds in towards a pro league. So these teams that have come in from the developmental league, obviously not near the, you know, near the lights out top tier standard of the NA league, but definitely putting in some map victories, getting some upsets, which is always good to see. And hopefully they can take the experiences and push themselves on a little bit further as well, because that's what experience is, right? You're never going to come in from a developmental league and just start winning against all the top tier teams. Never been heard of.
Definitely not, and especially, you know, they're going to learn some hard lessons and they're going to have to make some adjustments in their teams, and, you know, facing against these better teams, it teaches you some weaknesses that you need to shore up in your lineup, and then you can potentially use those newfound skills or newfound knowledge to try to deny teams like the Days team and all those coming up Premier teams from making their way into the Pro League when you have to play off against them for the spot.
Absolutely, and let's take a quick look at the schedule today. We've talked a little bit about our matchups on the secondary stream. On the primary stream, it is Renegades up against Optic, and this is a match which is... It's actually going to be a bit of a blockbuster. I'm a little bit jealous. I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know. It really depends what kind of a Renegades turns up. You know, it
I
could be the
solid Renegades will turn up.
We'll see. We'll see. Could be the solid Renegades that you reference to, or they could be feeling a little bit sloppy. In which case, I'd be a little bit scared of Optic, to be honest.
Yeah, it depends on what form. You know, the Renegades are 16-0'd. Or the Relegates. That's really the question at the end of the day.
16-0 or get 16-0'd.
There's no in between, unfortunately, for Renegades fans. But like with the addition of NAF, I think it will bring a lot more consistency onto the board. They finally found a consistent player, and they're going, look, okay, we don't need to find a player that fits in our playstyle right now. We don't need to change our playstyle anymore. We've just got to learn and play how to adapt. Because that felt like what was the problem for me, Renegades, was that every single time, you know, it felt like they were taking one step forward in terms of, all right, we picked up a new player, let's go. They take 2 steps back. You know, they picked up Nexter as an IGL. 3 weeks later, Nifty becomes IGL. So it's just like, you took one step forward, you're getting an IGL in it, and then you just, I don't know, just fell down the stairs because you had to make someone else IGL. And then, you know, next to left, all right, I have to pick up a new guy, Jay-Z walking, you know, 1 step forward, but he wasn't really what fitted what Renegades needed. That's another, once again, they just fell down the stairs. Now finally they pick up NAF, and now the question is, they got to stop going backwards, they got to now go forward. They can't shift their roles anymore outside of as soon as they initially define them. Anyway, it's probably us talking too much about Renegades. The mainstream will have a lot more talking about it. Later on today, it is Luminosity up against Liquid, and on ours, it is Rogue up against Immortals and Splice against Ghost Gaming.
Yeah, it should be interesting. Immortals having a bit of a weaker time at the moment, going in with all the stand-ins, and Rogue, finally, no stand-ins. They were playing with Uber and who was the other player? Whitmer. And now, I mean, just straight upgrades. You got Wrath and Cadian coming in. You should have a pretty good shot against this sort of what's the word? Maybe they're not so immortal. Yeah, more mortal. Yep.
I mean, they picked up Destiny as well as HZ, which were playing in the Tempo Storm lineup, which were playing inside the Luminosity Gaming lineup. And I was taking a quick look today. Rogue previously did defeat Tempo Storm. It wasn't even close, right? So Tempo Storm, you'd probably say 4th or 5th, depending on where you looked.
With Wrath?
Yeah, they were playing with Wrath. And it was like, Wrath just played lights out. It was like 1.6, 1.5 rating. It wasn't even close. It was like 16-5, 16-4, over and done with. So, and that's like where it becomes a little bit scary. It's because Rogue, they have, like, as much as we like to, like, earlier on we saw Rogue in the season, they had a lot of standards. They didn't look that promising because it was more an individual play because they couldn't practice as a team, right? You got 2 stand-ins. How are you meant to play as a team?
But the problem is they might have tanked their season as a result of that. Like,
I still believe Rogue, even if they had the full 5 lineup, we would have seen them like what we expected at Complexity and Splice. They need to make it into the mid-tier. You wouldn't call them bottom tier. Not with this experience. Like, in terms of, like, just Hiko by himself should not be relegated into bottom tier. Just like that one play, and we saw how explosive he can be. And now the danger is, right, for Immortals, is that Destiny and HAZ have not been playing that particularly well. Like, overall, they're decent players, but they haven't played particularly well against Rogue in the past. And this may lead towards a downfall once again. Like, you can't really get bolts and steals to just hard carry you every single time. You've got 3 other people. I know we talk about Hiko, but at the very least, he's got firepower backing him up. He's got that young talent in Wraith. He's got now Cadian as well backing him up. And we know how well Shinobi and Vice can play as well. They have their times when they chime in. All of a sudden, this Rogue lineup just makes sense and clicks. Who knows? I don't think they're not a finals lineups by any means. I don't think they'll be making an overseas trip for ESL Pro League, but
I mean,
it's a lineup with a lot of potential.
It's like you said, like, they basically would have been able to sneak their way into a final spot if they'd played with their full 5, like, right from the start, but they've tanked the season so hard that they're going to have to, like, go on some miracle, you know, G2-esque run where they start off, you know, 1-8 or whatever, and then they win literally, like, something like 14 out of 16 games or some amazing amount like that, and they have even some harder teams to play up against, you know, sooner. So we'll see how it goes. As for the Immortals, you know, even watching Destiny and Shiz in Luminosity or however you say SHD in Luminosity and in a little bit in Tempo Storm, like, it seems like even in those teams they don't have their roles like super defined. Like, they're always shifting around, giving more priority to other people in some regards. Like, especially in Luminosity, it seems like so much priority was given to Yell and stuff like that in that first lineup, and it wasn't giving them enough success, you know. And sometimes you see Destiny like have some insane games, and sometimes SHD, like, he's not always like going crazy, he's not always the flashiest players, but sometimes he just gets these multi-frags, especially entering on the T side and stuff like that. He can just win a whole round by himself, but it's those kind of things that make you think that, yeah, you know, a lot of these Brazilian players have potential, but they're not being utilized correctly.
Well, I mean, just taking a quick look at the Betway odds, it's still a little bit in the favor of Immortals, but I think it was like 2.2 something towards 1.7. I remember the numbers correctly. But would you agree with those numbers necessarily? I'd give Rogue. I mean, I was wrong about Complexity yesterday because I thought Complexity would bring the same, you know, game that they had against Optic.
Who's the favorite Immortals?
Immortals are the favorite, but just a little bit. Like, this one is a lot closer. I kind of agree a little bit more on this one.
Yeah, look, I have no idea. I'll be honest. Like, it's impossible to tell in this kind of a game who's going to come out on top. An interesting thing to note is, though, that if this 2 stand-ins, SHD and Destiny, want to do really well, it won't be too hard with players like Steel and Bolts, who don't really take up much room to get the job done. Smoke coming out towards Sandwich and the Green Train. Flash is going over, and they're going to pour out into the Sandwich Smoke. One more flash over, going to turn from that and run to the back of the bomb train. 2 of the Immortals players blind. Trade's going back and forth, but quick headshots coming out of Immortals. They're really going to shut down this Rogue push.
Yep, and it's all up to Wrath right now. He's already picked up 2. None of his other teammates able to help him out. And eventually Immortals have a decent surround with the pistol. They'll be able to take the round quite easily, even though the wall of smokes did come out earlier on. So Rogue, unable to take the pistol. Flash covers come through, but they're unable to get the first couple of entry kills, and that's really what's crucial with the Glocks. They managed to close the gap, but they weren't able to land the shots.
Yeah, semi-effective strat coming out, but, you know, those USPs can be so deadly, and we see why. I don't think there was a bomb plant down, but regardless, Rogue is going to save out. SMGs across the board coming out of Immortals, so...
Look at that aggression coming out from Immortals. I mean, you'd kind of suspect at this stage that Rogue will have bought up armor and pistol, but they're pushing in, trying to get information off the tees before rotating more members across, and Zach might be caught off guard right now. Oh, Bolt, he manages to save his teammate, and Zach is now under a little bit of pressure. Does well at least to trade a 1-for-1, but the bomb plant should go down. And this actually means Rogue can fly up in the next one, so they've decided, alright, we have to go and try and chance for the bomb plant, so a further more damage done with just Glocks as well as P250s. Destiny will clean up, but Rogue will be able to get AK-47s in the next round. Taking 2 guns off the CTs as well is very, very well done, considering it's just Glocks.
Yeah, great bomb plant. Not much money invested into that round, and they get a big reward out of it. 2 kills and a bomb plant. That's exactly what you'd be looking for. Interesting to see how Immortals continues to play. I mean, like you said, we saw some aggression out there, and they took T-Con fairly quickly there. That might be the impact of having Zach literally in the game, you know, being able to in-game lead if he is doing that. In fact, I mean, I can't imagine what else he'd be doing, to be honest. Bolts is going to be AWPing, so that's pretty interesting. I don't know about that one, but we'll see. Don't think I've seen too much of the Bolts AWP. He lets Cadian sort of run by, almost puts a bullet into the side of his arm through the wall. Destiny close up to the T-Con here. He might be flashed in. Cadian's ready for this. Fully turned. Ooh, he's going to be checked by Destiny. Good job from him. And trades go back and forth. Steel trading out Hiko as he trades Cadian. So big win there for Immortals. They get the map control and they get the man advantage.
Yeah, and that's just better control coming out from Immortals as well. So Rogue are trying to play a little bit surprising in terms of just dry peeking, and Wrath actually managed to make it work against Zach. So he's got control of this B bomb site just temporarily. I think Bolts does not spot him at the back of Oil Train. But the smoke does go through. Smoke does not matter because Bolts is just absolutely on fire with the AWP right now. You're questioning it, and he just goes, look, bro, I just hit everything.
Yeah, he's using it fairly well. Shinobi with 1. This is actually pretty winnable from him. He's knocked Bolts down to 46. 2 on 1, and Shiz has Kit and 2 flashes, but doesn't quite win that duel. That was pretty winnable there from Shinobi. Good effort from him, but not quite able to push it over the line. Another bomb plant coming in from Rogue, and I don't know what their money's going to look like.
Armor and pistols for this one. Yeah, armor and pistols. They can't force up because you really need the utility at this stage. I mean, it doesn't really justify going for the hero buy. You know that the CTs will have everything to work with. You don't necessarily have everything to work with. So there you have it. Wrath actually going for UMP, which is...
Yeah, it's a half buy. That's totally fine.
It's a little bit surprising on the T side.
Yeah, it's a little bit excessive down to 1350, but once you get down to the 4 loss bonus, you're getting about 2k or whatever. If you get 1 kill with that USB, that's the 600 that you need to really be able to invest into the next round. Otherwise, you'll be a little bit light. Maybe just an AK armor or something like that, but still not too bad.
It'll be effective against the AWP as well, considering Bolts has no head armor. And Zach spraying forward. Oh, that's actually Destiny's Incendiary Grenade that does the damage at the end of the day. Wrath, though, closing the distance. Has managed to find 2 with the UMP. Alright, so this UMP has worked out quite well. Zach's been caught off guard, and Rogue out of nowhere doing a lot of damage, and still he's dropped the bomb carrier. But Cadian will pick up... I don't know why I say Cadian. Cadian picks up the AWP and finishes it off in Immortals. Not a round they really necessarily should have dropped, but some great work coming out from Wrath, and...
Yeah, I don't know about Destiny
just
running
a little bit at the moment. He's just like, why?
Yeah, I don't know why Destiny was running straight through the wall of smoke and taking duels out in the open without the support of his teammates. There weren't even any flashes. I think he's just trying to play a little bit no respect against Rogue, but does pretty much contribute to him being the outside anchor and them hitting outside, getting literally 1 for 0 for no real reason and giving them an M4. I don't know, not exactly the ideal play perhaps, Kevin, but you know what? That's okay. What is not okay is Steel getting picked in a crucial round where Immortals don't have much money left in the tank. Let's see who's going to win between Vice and Zach in this little engagement. It's a game of patience.
Surely Vice will win this.
Yeah, I would say so. Shoulder being spotted out. Destiny playing really hyper-aggressive up right under the SL area. And it looks like Rogue's going to execute this in a bomb site.
So slowly going to walk out. Destiny, if he peeked, his life would have been forfeit because they had full control of the B bomb site. Bolts now shut off as well. And it looks like these 2 M4s need to just make a dash and just hop over towards opposite side of the map to make sure they're saved. And Rogue, I mean, it was such a good start for Immortals, so I was like, Rogue, well, you can see they're trying to do something. Pieces haven't really come in fully together yet. Their economy is getting shut down. Immortals 5-0. It's always a good start for a CT, but just after the back of a couple of misplays from Immortals, some good aim coming out from Wrath, and a play from Rogue on the A bomb site means that now they're back up 2-3 and a really, really good position as well. 5 members alive. Their economy is now kicking into full gear. Oh, not full gear, sorry. Probably into about 4th gear, which is always a comfortable speed to be cruising at. Not really the 6th gear. If they can take these guns off the CTs as well, this would be absolutely massive. But it looks like Rogue just go, there's too many lines to check. Let's just not go for it. And it's a wise decision as well, because you don't lose any further guns, you don't have to buy up, and you can just start building up more money in case things just go south side for you. You can just buy it once again and just break the CT economy.
Yeah, it seems fairly obvious to say that, but you know, 99% of teams don't actually do that these days. They go
Absolutely.
sprinting out. And
Because it's always that risk-reward thing, right?
I mean, it's not much of a reward, to be honest, in this scenario, because Immortals can't buy anyway. You're either dealing with the rifles in the last round, you know, in a, I don't know how, you know, favorable it would be. I suppose the only in the last round is that they could potentially catch you off guard in this round and make it extremely hard for you. One flash going over the top there for Rogue, and they're just going to stream out onto this inner bomb site. Hiko on the entry. Don't think that's something I'd be saying in a while.
When did Destiny tag down bolts towards 28? It's strange. Because 28, like, if you get knifed in the back, you're down to 39, but 28, what does that?
Math's not my strong suit, Kev, so I'm just going to...
Alright, fair enough.
Maybe he, I don't know, gave him an aggressive handshake or something like that. Don't really have the answer for you.
I don't even think aggressive handshakers will do that as Destiny. Well, this is just effectively Immortals just looking for any exits they can find. And SHZ just needs to keep this rifle up. I don't know where the other M4 is lost. It's probably towards CT, but none of the other members of Immortals are shifting to go grab the rifle, so it does mean an M4 will be lost. Steel and Zach just hoping they can get exits right now. And Shinobi's actually going to get taken out. Zach actually finds another one, but no more. So damage done towards the Rogue economy, which is good for Immortals, but very limited money to actually buy into this round. They won't have an open bolt, who was quite effective with the weapon. And Rogue, yeah, they have to buy up, but they're not going to mind that much. They go, we're now round drawn, you know. Let's just keep going for it.
Your boy Wrath already on top of the scoreboard, and I think we're seeing the big dimension that he adds to Rogue is just that aggression factor. We saw even when they were down in numbers, he wasn't afraid to just get out onto that inner bomb site. He was already up at the oil train in a numbers disadvantage situation, getting picks and making plays. So, I mean, that was a big problem with Rogue when we were watching them earlier in the Pro League, is that, you know, they all seemed a little bit hesitant, and the only way they were able to get anything done was to sort of, you know, limply entry the bomb site. And then Vice was pretty much winning them rounds, late round himself. But that's about it, really. In this sort of a Rogue lineup, Cadian's getting plenty of picks, and Wrath's going on the entry straight into B this time.
Bolts always gets one trade after Zach falls, but he can't take down the second. This is much better from Rogue. You need some aggression. Sometimes you just do need to dry peek it out and just go for the engagement and try to find the off timing. And it's worked so well for Rogue so far because they're not utilizing a full execute and, you know, telegraphing, hey, Immortals, we're over here. They're going, oh, you know, we're over this way, etc., etc. And so just for now, looks like Immortals, they've done damage, but they can't get back into this bomb site. They're just going to have to save.
And hopefully Shinobi and Wrath won't be blown up. They will hopefully be able to hold on to these AKs. But great pick in there from Cadian. Just one flash over the top. He instantly grabs one of the inners players. And Wrath pushing up wins the engagement against the other. So they go fairly successfully into the inner bomb site once again. Bolts can buy as he was dropped into the last round. Shiz might be able to drop one to Zach. And I'd say it will be a buy here.
Have to try something at the very least. I mean, the money is reset, so you might as well just drop at the moment. You've lost 4 in a row now if you're Immortals. If you lose the next one, it's 5. You can arm a pistol. That's actually not a bad buy coming out. You've got 5 rifles across the board. You've got a lot of utility to work with, as well as that body armor. So, Rogue now feeling very confident on this B bomb site, but they're going to try and change things up. Going to go towards Ivy and see if they can startle SHZ a little bit, try to challenge Ivy to make sure Immortals don't get too many fancy ideas and start stacking the B site too much. Because that's the scary thing, right? Immortals have had 2 on the B site. Every single time they've had 2, they've lost B. You shouldn't be losing B if you're actually allocating 2 people there normally. It's like, if you had 1, sure, I can understand. If they executed A fully and you had 3 people, you can't really watch all sectors correctly. You're losing it with 2 people up on B side.
Well, the thing is that it's pretty much as simple as this. They're not telegraphing the execute enough for utility usage to really be effective. Not that Immortals have really had that much. And the entries are just going the way of Rogue. Unfortunately, not that time. But the trade does come out from Wrath, so Hiko taking one for the boys. Rule number 2. As Steel playing from that sandwich position. Don't know if he's going to be able to get anything done there. Goes 1 for 1 again, but Trade slightly in the favor of Immortals. Vice needs to win this engagement, and he doesn't against Destiny, so Cadian's left all alone in a 1-on-3.
He's going to have to bring back the time a little bit, but he won't be able to. So Immortals finally stop the rampage of for Rogue just for a short period of time. They've retrieved the AWP as well, but look on the cash on Cadian. He can just drop his teammates for days and still pick out AWP.
See how Hiko's playing though, it's crazy. He's completely, you know, adapted and changed his role. You'd expect him to be, you know, the old style Hiko. You'd expect him to be the guy clearing out inner or even maybe going towards that SL or Ivy by himself or whatever. But he's actually going in the main pack of 3 and, you know, playing basically a supportive role and running out for Wrath to get the trade and trying to open up the round. I've seen him entry 2 rounds separately and I haven't really seen him go by himself too much, so I think it's pretty safe to say that his role has changed a lot. That's
so good.
The same strat once again just works perfectly. Seems like Wrath and Hiko are that entry duo for this team.
And it's working.
Yeah, it's working great.
It's this contact play is working. I'd like to see Rogue trying to, like, you know, shake things up a little bit with a few more executes because you can't just do contact plays forever.
I mean, you can't, but they are, and it's working very well. This may be
Absolutely.
the reset round for Immortals if they don't win this one, and they've only got 1 kit, which is on Destiny. And Vice just picking up HHD there pretty much locks them out of the round.
I don't know, they're still going for it. They do have the kit, and all of a sudden down towards a 1 and 2. All up to Shinobi, but they just have to effectively jump on
no time.
Yeah. Destiny, good shot to at least take down Shinobi, but the bomb's going to explode. He's going to lose his life, so no AWP taken to the next round. Not sure what the call for Immortals was. Destiny,
I don't know if that was an Immortals call, but I don't know. So far, just watching Destiny, he loves his frags, alright? He likes to get in their face. He's not afraid, but...
It reminds me of the Destiny in Australia, just a little bit, where it's just... you know, he's getting the kills and everything, big impact kills, but... At the end of the day, you scratch your head a little bit and just go, well, I don't think it was really worth it for Immortals. I mean, imagine if they took an AWP as well as a rifle into the next round. You could have kind of justified this mixed buy, but now it's a single M4 being reinforced by CZ, by 2 for Masters, by UMP as well. Cadian uncharacteristically missing a shot towards Bolts, who just decides to peek for a little bit of information towards T-Connector.
This time we do see Hiko sort of solo lurking towards that Ivy, so they definitely have a different kind of a setup moving into this round. Maybe actually expecting Immortals to be on a save. That is not the case, unfortunately. They have 2 people set up towards T-Con, one sort of playing back in Ivy. They're going to head back out to maybe set up some smokes, while the other 2 Rogue players are going to go down SL. So a bit of an outer split here. Let's see how Immortals responds.
So they've just fallen back. 1 sandwich, 1 on the bomb site, and 1 playing close Ivy. But the danger is that there actually is no one towards Ivy. So FJ said if the wall of smokes do come up, his UMP is going to be locked out. So there you have it. So the Molotovs now coming up, just clearing these close lines. Rogue, they have a clear intention. Molotovs just making sure there's no one hiding for E-Box so the SL guys can come out safely. And Destiny, nothing he can do. Sandwich completely isolated. Bolts, he's still jumping up. Very easy kill for him as SHZ. Hiko, huge round coming out. 3 kills the AK-47. 2 easy on the entry. And now it's just looking for scraps on the back of the CZ and Steel. They just want to pick up any rifles or any weapons they can. But now Mortals completely reset. They forced into that run, and there's nothing they can do now. Just got to back off and save this rifle. And it's just so frustrating for Immortals because you want to, like, the first instinct is that you go up 3-0, you lose one. It's like, all right, we have the chance to break it. You lose a few more, you finally take one, and then you'll reset again. And it's just like, it just requires so much patience and willpower to just go, all right, full eco this one. We need the utility, we need the weaponry. We might even need a double AWP setup to come out, but I'm not sure who would pick up the second AWP for the Immortal side. Maybe Destiny as well as Bolts.
I don't know why they even went for the Force though, because it's not like they were even close to resetting Rogue in that round. They must have felt fairly confident they could win it, but let's be real, like, 2 Famouses and UMP and a CZ is not really a great buy. That definitely could have been a save, and they could have taken advantage of the losers bonus, and now they're going to be feeling it a little bit.
I heard a lot of people are now picking up the FAMAS and the Galil because apparently the tapping is a lot better compared to, or like the burst fire is a lot better compared towards Okay.
Yeah, look, Steel just needs to do that more. Like,
And Zach also finds one as well. Still a B-side stack. And well, Rogue just losing a little bit of direction because it just means Immortals are just gifted almost a free round. Like, this is a round that will close out, surely. Got a rifle, you've got an AWP, you've got the positioning.
we'll see. Wrath has something to say about that, and it's pretty much Wrath and Hiko versus the world at the moment. Smoke going out towards CT connector, and Bolt's in a really good position here, but Wrath seems so aware.
How is this kid so good? Just knows.
Look, Hiko's pretty much his Counter-Strike dad. He's fathered him into the...
Yeah, just
probably not.
Imagine that. It's just like, you know, but that's what
that's what I picture it as.
That's what Hiko's doing, right? Though, like he's picked up a bunch of new young talent. He's trying to train them up. He's using experience. He's using the years he's played in Counter-Strike to try and help these boys out.
He's pretty much dead. Just say
he's effectively the Counter-Strike dad. Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Dad's in Counter-Strike.
Thank you. I mean, he is like he even wears a hat, and you know, it's a fairly laid back kind of guy. One in heaven being Hiko, and a SL setup. Hiko's just gonna peek him after the spray comes out.
2-on-4.
Hiko, definitely a different look from him. I don't think I've seen him running into the bomb site first ever, and starting to wonder why that wasn't happening sooner.
Maybe he's just felt refreshed. It's like when it's never like, imagine if you're going out with the boys, but it's always an analogy with the boys. Imagine you're heading out, you're gonna have some fun with the boys, but instead of, you know, your core 5 gang, you only have 3. Like you only have your core 3 and then 2 guys that you don't really know. It's not the same.
Yeah,
It's not the same atmosphere. You know, it's a little bit awkward. But now that you're finally back together, band of brothers, etc., etc., everything's. I wouldn't say everything's working out. It's still a little bit rough on the edges, but definitely it looks much better. There is some sense of direction, even when it's a 2-on-4. It's not like, oh lol, let's just sprint out, try and trade. Let's play it slowly. Let's try to take map control. Like, let's be aware of where the opponents are, and it works. Rogue 2-on-4. I mean, it wasn't like Immortals just didn't have any guns in the positioning. They just let their impatience kind of throw them off a little bit, as now Cadian once again will get the first opening to pick, and now the second on towards SHZ, who's trying to come close towards a blue train towards T-Connector to get the trade. And Rogue, they're making this look too easy at the moment.
They are indeed. As Cadian with the stick injuries on the AWP there, and man, that's just two things that playing with stand-ins they really missed in their lineup. The ability to just open up rounds, and Wrath and Cadian are bringing that in spades. As Cadian gets 3 for the round. Pretty much won it by himself. Great job from him. And I want the Rogue to be renamed to Hiko's Daycare. And Cadian could just be the what's the word? Like the Danish
the nanny?
Yeah, no. He's like the Danish nanny who like He can't find another job, so he's just doing like cash in hand work, looking after kids or something.
All right. Let's not go too deep in towards anything that may be of illicit activity, but Hiko will be able to shut down at least one of the rifle saves. So Bolts, once again, will be able to take a rifle forward, but for what purpose? At some stage, even if Immortals take one, it just feels like Rogue is just going to reset them.
Well, Bolts is going to have to do something similar to Steel hopping up on top of the train and just shooting 2 people in T-Con. That would always help. Thing is, though, that the unfortunate thing for this Immortals lineup is that, you know, pretty much those plays were left down to the other 3 players who left, really. And Steel and Bolts were sort of the more supportive core / you know, standardish kind of players. There's aggression from Bolts sometimes, definitely not from Steel too much. Hiko's just going to walk out Ivy. Once again, leading the charge for the boys.
He's just not afraid at this stage. He's just going straight out. It's just, what are smokes? What are flashbangs? We don't need them. Just making slow contact play. And did he just do a 360? He just did a complete backflip as SHZ. Just completely destroyed. And now just Shinobi is holding off one. He's able to take down at least one before being traded out. And just Rogue, how they're holding position so far is just so smart. Finally, Hiko's going to be outsmarted by Zach. It's not something you see very often. He's also spotted the bomb in Cadian. Needs to be cautious with Vice. Has backed him up. It's backed him up. Rogue, it was once again a little bit dangerous, but they do manage to close out the round. And our Immortals, they have to make something change in this round. This is effectively the only round they have, as now Zach's also picked up an AWP. Steel's got an AWP. Who hasn't held an AWP this round? It's only SHZ who hasn't picked one up for the CT side. And Shinobi and Vice, a little bit quiet, but at this stage, when when you have Wrath, Hiko, and Katie, and just not even, like, I'd say hitting superstar status like we saw Olafmeister do earlier today, they're just doing the job. Getting the entry kills, getting 2 or 3 apiece around, and that's enough.
Yeah, look, bit of a gap between those guys and Olafmeister, I would say. But they're doing quite well to beat Immortals here. And Steel going to look for a pick into the T-Con. Smoke's coming out towards the outer bomb site. Already Wrath pushing out of SL, gets traded 1-for-1, but he's taken out the AWPer in Steel. Bink coming out from SHD, but it's not going to be enough. Lots of low Rogue players here, but they are in a man advantage.
But all they need is a single M4 bullet landing. Zach with the AWP. I mean, he takes down Hiko, Shinobi. Oh, Vice. Just trading from Rogue at the moment is just too good so far. And now down towards a 2-on-1. Bolts on the opposite side has been spotted out by Cadian. He's doing a little bit more damage, but it's so difficult to land the M4A4 spray at that distance. And he's going to try and close the gap as Cadian's going to rotate across. Vice in a little bit of no man's land at this stage. He's managed to duck back behind the bomb train, and I think Bolts is aware of this. Spotted out his leg. But Cadian now has completed his move, and Vice has to push. He is very, very low, so very easy clean up for Bolts. And now Bolts has the smoke grenade, has the kit, can make it work. Nades towards the wrong position. Cadian, he has to try to find this kill. He will with a P250. So towards the end, well played by Bolts, but not good enough as Rogue, double digits, 10-4 lead on the T side. It is a map pick, but still a 10-4 lead. Very impressive considering Immortals were up very early, 3-0. Looking to take it 4-0 as well.
Yeah, I mean, Rogue is just impressing in general at the moment. Don't remember if this was their map pick or not, but they're doing a great job on it.
When was the last time it was a map pick for Train and you said, let's start T side?
I mean, pretty much never, but...
There's your answer.
Hey, maybe they're BMing.
I don't think so. At this level, you don't, like, I don't think you want to BM. Because, like, if you BM and you pick T-side, then you'd say that you start running some really, really silly strats. But so far, Rogue have played very, very structured, very disciplined in Destiny. We're able to pick off Wrath, and actually, Pop Dog control now taken by Immortals, as well as that Inner's push coming in from Zach's lead. No, it has to be an A-site taken. Destiny's finally stepped up as well. A few impact frags towards the T-connector area. Absolutely critical for Immortals at least to put one more on the board. And Hiko, he has to strike eventually, but it's just trying to find the correct timing. He spotted out SHZ. Now coming back in for the re-engagement. Destiny still playing close towards Sandwich. Needs to take down Shinobi, who's got the bomb. And he will be able to do so. Now it's all down to Hiko. Dinked out. Too many members for him to take out. So Immortals, at the very least, do make it a 5-10 half. Competitive coming to their own T side. But Rogue, 10 rounds. A lot of rounds on their T side to work with. And now going into the CT side, they're going to be very, very happy and content with themselves.
Definitely, but I mean, even just that last round, we're seeing Destiny being quite aggressive, and that's probably what Immortals are going to need if they're going to continue to grow and move forward, because, you know, like we said, they've lost all their aggressive players, so it'd be good to pick up a couple more who can fill that role a little bit more, and keen to see some more stuff from Destiny. Hopefully he'll be actually doing that on the T side, not just pushing on the CT side.
All right, let's see what Immortals can bring on the T side. We'll be back in about 1.5 minutes. Hello everyone, welcome back. It is halftime for map number 1 for the EPL between Immortals as well as Rogue. Very, very solid start for Rogue so far. 10-5 up on the T side. Now they just got to consolidate, take the pistol, makes their job of closing off the CT side exponentially easier. Do you think Immortals have a chance in coming back in towards this game?
Rogue is looking really just solid across the board. Unfortunately, you don't really expect Zach to contribute too much to the scoreboard. Steel, Bolts, and Destiny having an alright game. The person who's not stepping up for them is SHD, and he needs to turn that around on the T side if they're going to have a chance, because, at the moment it kind of seems like they're lagging behind and they're not on the same star power level as a team like Rogue, which is pretty tricky to say considering you have 2 major finalists.
What are those odds? They've completely swinged around. I don't think Immortals are in complete dire
straits. Yeah, I don't think that's
yet.
correct, really, but
it's different.
I think people just saw Big Daddy Hiko running into the bomb sites and wrecking everyone, and they were like, alright, $500 on Rogue, let's go, boys. I'm going to get me a Doppler too.
Yeah, true that. I mean, we were discussing a little bit on where the... What knife skin did you say it was? Oh, well, we shouldn't be talking about knife skins, but like, apparently there was a very nice knife that Wrath had.
Yeah, and he's 16, so yeah, I don't think he bought that one for himself, boys.
No? No. But
I didn't have a Doppler when I was 16. Then again, CSGO wasn't out yet.
Yeah, but the money is now definitely shifted in favor of Rogue, but I didn't expect it to be that heavy of a shift. Like, that's big. Like, I'd be like, yeah, maybe it'll be like 1.6 towards Rogue, and now Immortals will be the 2.2, because it's still early days. I mean, Immortals could have a really, really good T side, some nice executes. All you need is 2 or 3 members of Immortals to stand up, and we've seen the potential for 3 of them to do so far. It's going to make their job on the T side a lot easier, and if Rogue cannot fire up on their CT side, Immortals could do a lot of damage. It's all going to boil down to this pistol round to see how competitive Immortals are going to be in this half, in my opinion. And
the most important factor that, they're on the T side and Zach's in the server. So, honestly, they've got about three RGL brains that are of a pretty good level. I'm sure they can come up with a couple of strategies, a couple of plans to throw a spanner in the works for Rogue, and it's definitely not going to be a walkover, as those odds might indicate.
Cadian pushing for information, just punished hard by Steel, who was just ready and waiting for him. There's a smokes towards front of train as well as Ivy popping up now. Zach looks like he's just a sacrificial lamb, but it's actually going to be so executing. Hiko's going to spot out a few. Oh, nice shot from Hiko. Oh my goodness. I feel like I've seen this before coming out from Hiko on this baseline and train. Just recently in the Pro League, I was like, surely this man can't do it time and time again, and he does it. Now Rogue 4v2. My goodness, good flashbang, but not good enough. It's all up to Steel now. At the very least, he shuts down Shinobi, but what do you say to that? Hiko. Alright, just make the odds, I don't know, 0.9. You'll lose money if you put it on Rogue, because that is just not fair. How can you lose when someone is hitting shots like that?
You probably can't, and, I mean, Pistol after being up 10-5 already. Immortals is only going to have to save 1 as they did get the bomb down. So, that's the good news. They will have AKs moving into the next round, and pretty, how do I say this? The weapons they've invested into aren't really hard against the eco, hard investment against the eco. They will be able to take them into the next round, so...
Sorry for interrupting. Did I ever tell you, apparently there was like a little bit of an unintended change towards the FAMAS and the Galil?
Yeah, I've seen it anyway. But yeah, the tagging and the tapping accuracy has been better. Faster recoil reset, I believe it was.
I think it was accidental as well. It was like it wasn't on purpose.
I mean, it was obviously they can't just accidentally buffed a weapon. Whoops, boys.
They actually did.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't an intentional change on the side of Valve, which is But it is what it is, and the players now, that's why you're probably seeing the FAMAS as well as the Galil come out, because before you'd see a lot more SMGs, but now it's just the Rifle City right now, and Hiko. Oh, Bolts! Oh, Zach. No. You don't just knife your teammate in the back.
What do you mean, Kev? You don't get 1,500 for that?
No, you get minus 300 for that.
Oh, no.
Zach just saved Steel by killing Bolts.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
So Zach was actually moving into the game.
Yeah, Zach was actually just advanced meta this entire time. He knew what was going on, and Cadian has just gone, alright, I can't afford an AWP, so I'll just pick up a CZ instead, because who needs a gun when a CZ is a rifle, right?
No, not right.
It's a rifle, it's just a very short rifle, which is really good at close range.
Yeah, that's why it's got the
fully
little
automatic.
second handle on there.
Why can't you just have like a longer extension on the CZ? Like, that'd be such a better gun.
Why can't you just do that and hold it backwards? I mean, one side's longer, longer than the other.
You shoot yourself in that, what? Chili, what are you going on about?
It's fine, it's fine. I mean, he's pretty much shot himself already by buying the CZ in the gun round, but you know what? He's going up against Zach, who, you know, he's definitely fine. He could definitely win this engagement, but if Cadian's going to shoot anyone with a CZ, it's probably going to be Zach. Fortunately, he doesn't feel like shooting him, Kev. Instead, he just feels like shoulder peeking him and then screwing with him a little bit. It's pretty even. Ooh, Zach. See, IQ letting him pretty much predict that fallback from Cadian. Cavian. Oh my god, I'm going to save that one for later when he's not playing well.
Alright, so Immortals now out on towards the A-bomb site. Managed to make a very, very easy contact play happen. As HAZ, that is a huge entry coming out, and Rogue just falling out. Cadian with the CZ just lucky inside the smoke. He's just, oh, I don't know what to do, Daddy, help me. And it's all up to Hiko. He finds one, nearly finds a second. It's just too many for him to even transfer on towards. So Immortals do pick up one. Rogue should be on the eco on this one. They can force up, but I don't think that's the best idea. Should just buy a few pistols. They can fully invest in the next one, and they'll be happy with that.
Good kills in from SHZ, who before that was having a bit of a shocker, to be honest, and you know, he's getting out fragged by Zach, so...
Well, Shinobi's having a little bit of a shocker. I mean, T-side, it is a little bit difficult considering the role he's played, and sometimes you just always, you know, get your head found out by one of the Ts.
Do indeed. As Destiny finds out Wrath trying to push up into that pop bog area, and I got a feeling that Destiny kind of wants to be on this Immortals roster moving forward, because it doesn't look like he's bringing his B or his C game today.
Old P250 actually would have taken out Destiny at that range, but it doesn't matter at this stage, because new P250 doesn't do that much at close range, and now Hiko just needs to save. Makes me a little bit sad.
You've changed P250. How could you do this to Kevin?
Actually, it was like one of my go-to weapons beforehand, and now I rarely pick it up.
You rarely play Counter-Strike, Kevin.
I know, but when
so
I do play
how
Counter-Strike...
little is that sample size, mate?
Actually quite frequent. Still. It's just like, it's like in my mind, like the pistols like if I'm playing seriously, what I will never use is dualies. I said seriously, mind you, because I'm not playing seriously.
They've got a 20% discount, mate.
Yeah, I know.
$400.
You can buy a kit in dualies now. No one can accuse you of not being a team player. And it's actually not a bad idea, because I've seen the dualies being played at the apps area, at the Carps area in Inferno. So if you give that one towards an armored player, and you've got a kit, I can even accuse you. That actually works out.
Yeah, until, you know, they push anywhere but carpets and you're trying to tap them at long range with the crappiest weapon in the game.
Yeah, probably.
yeah,
you're right.
Can't argue with that one.
Yeah, can't argue with that one. It's probably worse than the Glock at the moment.
Nah,
but
mate,
still,
you
get
should
two
have gone.
pistols.
You should have gone with the old, you know, 2 pistols is better than 1, so therefore 2 times the firepower. And
imagine you had 2 AWPs. You can't look down both of them. It'd just be like weird.
Nah, we already went through this, mate. One's in the back of your head.
Yeah.
We went through this yesterday. All right. We should probably talk about the round here, as this is a pretty important one, to be honest.
Absolutely. Buys coming out from both sides. The AWP finally coming out on the CT side for Cadian. And now Ivy presence actually being taken from Immortals. If Cadian dry peeks into this, he could be in a little bit of trouble. So he's going to just throw a flash in. There's the smoke. He's still watching the angle. No one being boosted up. Just jump spotting it. Arm's been spotted out. And this incendiary grenade or a Molotov just taps him on the head and just burns him for a little bit. So just adding a little bit of fire to the injury. Just a little bit. A smidge.
See what Immortals will be able to do coming out the Ivy here. Destiny on the entries. That's what we wanted to see from him on the T side. He's pretty good playing T side on the CT side for the most part. Nade coming out onto the bomb train. Shinobi's going to take out Zach. Shinobi with another one. Good little 2k from him, but the rest of the kills going the way of Immortals until Wrath steps in. He's going to get traded out. So Hiko in a 1v2. I mean, Hiko in a 1v anything is winnable. Let's see how he goes. No kit for him, unfortunately, so he's going to probably want to step in before they get the bomb down. Going to play fairly split up. Steel also a proficient clutch player in himself. Destiny going to overextend though. And Steel's got to go grab the bomb now with 20 seconds to go. Hiko should be aware of this. He spotted it out. He knows he's dropped the bomb. Steel's going to pick it up and plant at the other side of the bomb train. 8 seconds to go. Let's see if Hiko's going to call this. He's just going to walk out. So Steel's probably going to be aware of this, but he's going to be looking the wrong angle. And Hiko...
How does he do it every single time? How does he do it?
Well, he waits for Destiny to make a mistake and then punishes him for it.
Yep. Yeah, I think he's just scavenging for more items around the block.
Oh yeah, PUBG.
Smoke grenade.
Once the round's over, it turns into PUBG.
Yeah.
Pick up the smoke grenade so you can revive your fallen teammates.
Don't have enough to carry an extra flashbang. Got to chop that. Got to pick up this. That's what it is, really. And the troubling sign is, though, okay, that was a sick play from Hiko.
Yeah.
But so far, Rogue, every single time have lost the A-bomb site. And that is a troubling sign.
Another sick sign for Hiko is the fact that he's pretty much running in first almost every other round on T side and topping the scoreboard for his team. Wrath not doing too bad. Shinobi having a bit of a shocker. And Vice usually, I mean, back when they were playing with stand-ins, pretty much undisputedly the best performing player on Rogue. It's dropped off a little bit. Bit of a pause coming in.
Most likely for Immortals. Tactical pause just to figure out. Maybe from Rogue, actually, because they don't actually have the most cash in the world to really play with at this stage, and they have to decide, all right, what do we do with the money?
I'd probably say it would be from Immortals, but does that mean it's Rogue if it's on the side of the left?
No, that's just, I don't know.
Alright. Well, I would say it's from Immortals because it's a difficult position. If you lose this round, you put Rogue up to 14, and from that point on, it would be...
It's actually a Rogue tac pause, which is...
It is a Rogue tac pause.
I'm not surprised by it, though, because this is... I mean, understanding that this is a critical round for both sides is really important. And Rogue haven't just gone, all right, we've won one round, we're in the clear, boys, 13-7, let's go. They understand that if they lose this, they're going to be completely reset. They need to talk about exactly how to patch up this A-side defense.
Well,
I mean, it doesn't mean that Immortals can talk a little bit about how they're going to attack the map, but it is important for Rogue to make sure they're on the same page, because they are losing the bomb site quite heavily right now. And Wrath instantly going to be legged down, and look at this fast Pop Dog control. Wrath, he'll barely be able to get out alive, but they're already out of Pop Dog. Wrath, what are you doing? You can't just go back in. And when the tactical pause comes forward, nothing happens really with it, and it's a 3-for-2 trade at the end of the day. If Shinobi finds another one, it might make it effective, but Hiko...
Look how low they are, though.
They are all low, and Hiko... If there's ever a man, once again, you want to be in this situation to clutch it out, it is this man himself. And Zach's going to come across. Actually, Hiko finds one. He'll find the second one quite easily. He spotted out the third one as well, but Bolts, he can't shoot through the edge of the box, and Bolts on 4 HP will complete the one-on-one clutch. My goodness, has it heated up right now in between Rogue and Immortals. 13-8. Rogue, worst nightmare. They reset once again, and Immortals in a really good chance of taking the next two and bringing themselves to double digit as well. And like I said, it is never over till hit 16.
What's going on? They've bought again into this round.
Their economy is reset, so you got a double eco anyway, so they might as well force and try to do some damage.
But they're up 5 rounds in a row. They double eco, they go to 13-10 with full money, and then they have loss bonus after that. In this scenario, they're pretty much only guaranteeing themselves about, 4K or whatever. One way comes out from Shinobi. 4K after the next 2 rounds if they do lose this one and save the next. And they're going to be lacking mollies. Cadian's going to be struggling to buy an AWP. I just don't see it. I don't see it, Kev. 4 CZs and you're playing back of Bomb Train. I mean, if you're Wrath, you can just tap people down from long range, but, it's not exactly the best scenario, in my opinion.
And Hiko's just caught out in the middle of the open. They know exactly where he is.
Just take the double save there every time. Train's such an important economy map. You need your Molotovs, you need your utility, you really need your AWPs. Especially when Cadian's playing so well with it.
I think every map is a very, very important economy map. I think. Yeah,
not really.
There's Karath's expert analysis. Money is crucial to making sure you can buy everything you need.
Well, semi-true, as Vice getting flashed out. I'm not willing to admit that you're right, Kevin. I'm going to come out and say it right now, all right?
Semi-true? What does semi-true mean?
What do you mean, Kevin, in general?
in general. Oh, because before we go like this map is biased towards the CT side because you have these tighter lines. It's harder for Immortals to kind of come back into this.
Cadian's got no molly, no AWP. Wrath's got no molly. The other two have no mollies. Hiko's the only one with the molly.
But I'd say at the moment, it's not the grenades that are letting them down. It's just this A-side hold. Someone needs to play aggressive. Someone needs to shut down this T connected with a bunch of HEs and smokes.
Or Molotovs, perhaps.
Or Molotovs. Okay, maybe, yeah.
All right.
But Molly's just mean that the guy can peek you still and do damage. Or if you just double HE and 8 stack it, he's just going to eat it slow down to a drastic amount. And he won't see anything as well.
Oh, they're getting so much ground on the outer bomb site, Kev, that if you throw down the Molotov, it allows your CT players to get into better positions and move up the train yard, get onto the E-box area, get into Pop Dog perhaps, and...
The Pulse just gets B. That's rare for Hiko to lose that, and now they're going to just slowly come out of Ivy, just fighting Cadian in the hedge. And this round is all over in Immortals. That's why I said the odds... Oh, okay, they just lined up and they've lost the bomb. Okay. Okay, Wrath. All right, Wrath. All right, Vice. You want to prove me wrong now. Steel is going to try and do his best to clutch it out. Definitely doable because Wrath is on 7 HP and Steel knows exactly where he is.
Let's see if he Steel got it as he goes into the one-on-one against Wrath. Picks up the bomb. Wrath moving out. He's walked through the smoke. Ooh, he might be able to catch Steel.
Oh, no! Steel just turns it.
That's the second low-health clutch that's not quite gone the way of Rogue. Both of those rounds could have just straight out won them the game, but Immortals surviving on single-digit health. Now, instead of being able to have a proper buy in that last round, they're going to save in this one. And next round will be the first round in quite a while where they'll actually have the money they require to do all of the options under the sun, including grabbing AWPs, getting the Molotov, Steel, getting his head blown off by Vice, who's just going for a bit of a drive-by in the Pop Dog. Wrath not being phased by the fact that there's two pretty elite level players sitting in the ESL when he's just going to run at them with the CZ. So that's what you want to see. That's really what you want to see.
You got to close the quarters, and Rogue have just turned this around. Why Immortals? They were looking so good, and now Destiny on down towards a 1-3 after finding the first pick. He actually finds Cadian. What? Cadian missing up his opportunity a little bit. I don't know why Rogue are giving Destiny so many opportunities right now. They're just sprinting away, unwilling to take these duels, but exposing their flank. And Hiko, he has not been spotted out, and Hiko will not put down the opportunity given towards Rogue right now. So money for them to work with, a lot of cash to work with, as a matter of fact. Immortals, they can buy straight back into this, but a little bit of a misplay. A little bit too happy to go towards Pop Dog. They run straight in towards, the waiting arms of a CZ, and CZs at close range are always lethal.
No, mate. The CCs has run into the waiting arms of the terrorists as he sprints into the Pop Dog, both of them, and takes the fight.
And wins.
Wins it. And I'm going to use this opportunity to push my agenda. You don't need money to win in this game, Kevin. Screw you.
Alright, so Bolts has managed to make his way out through Old Hell, and he's in a great position near the green train. Shinobi dancing around, is being caught out. They know where Bolt is now, 17 HP. But what is this stack on the A? Bomb site, 2 on the bomb site itself. 1 at Heaven, and Hiko is just holding off the B site. You can just leave Hiko there. He'll do everything that you need him to do for now. As Bolts tried to do what... Sorry, Destiny tried to do what Bolts did earlier. It's not going to work out. They are going to shift their members towards the B site instead, and... Bolt's just going to be making a bit of a nuisance of himself, just working around the green train. Vice should be able to spot him out right about now. This is too low, but Vice still lands the headshot. Stacked up in Pop Dog. They'll come out. They'll see the smoke on the bomb train. Cadian still watching towards Ivy as the rest of the members pushing out right now. Wrath has to go huge. Vice backing up now just towards the ladder, but he can't land the spray towards Steel. Steel, another kill. He is absolutely on fire right now today as Wrath, he finally steps up and gets 2 before Hiko would clean things up. So Rogue, it has been a struggle, but they are finally on match point. Immortals, not that much to work with as well. It's been a bit of a train ride.
As indeed. Cadian not having the best CT half after such a strong display on the T side. Usually you'd see it the other way around, to be honest. But it's not really mattering. Shinobi having a bit of a shocker too. But doesn't matter when Vice and Wrath are winning you rounds with CZs. Hiko's giving you a chance in pretty much every clutch. and defending the inner bomb site by himself. Looks like a bit of a walkout. Ivy play and SL, but Rogue have seen this before.
I just don't like how Rogue just plays stacked on the A bomb site. It just feels really strange to me.
But they're playing retake on B. I mean, in the other rounds where they were on a full buy, it's a little bit more strange. But in this scenario, they know that, you know, Immortals has bad weaponry. They don't really care too much if Immortals grabs themselves a bomb plant on inner. They've got plenty of Molotovs and stuff like that to retake, although they have used most of them, so they're going to rely on, you know, angles being locked down. But it's not going to be a factor in this round. The stack will be successful unless Immortals is going to hit some nice entries.
And there's the first one, as Shinobi is only able to get 1 for 1, and now Ivy Push coming out. Cadian needs to land a shot with the AWP. He does manage to back out, so the retake should begin. And the most important thing is Wrath is still in this position, but he did not spot out Destiny. He has spotted out SHZ, though. Now spotting out Destiny! Huge coming out from Wrath in this final round. And now Bolts. 1-on-3 situation. Just peeking, trying to find any opportunity they can. Rogue have a lot of time to work with. They know got a lot of time to work with. And now Bolts makes his position at E-Box known. He just has to hide. No one can push in right now, and he's going to take down Hiko as well. Cadian, he's just dropped the P2. He's just dropped down to the P250 and Bolts. So smart, so good, and winning another crucial round for Immortals, and they can bring this back right now. If Rogue, they have to eco. Maybe Wrath can drop a few pistols. He can maybe buy a SMG, but you don't want to see them overinvest in this round. That would be the worst.
Yeah, definitely would be.
And they don't overinvest. Only pick up 2 CZs, and everyone else is on the eco.
Let's see if they're able to shave any guns off the Immortals economy. Whether this will just be a bit of a walkover. So far,
should be a walkover.
Yeah.
Just imagine at the stage if Immortals did actually take, you know, the round where Rogue won on very basic pistol buys. Now Hiko, Zach will push in and get a very easy kill with the Galil. Immortals 2 rounds away from bringing it back into overtime, and Rogue, you'd say that this is their final true chance. They need to make this one count.
Destiny having a pretty good game. Steel and Bolt's also up there. SHD and Zach kind of lagging behind a bit. Seeing a similar thing from Rogue, though.
That's what I mean, though. Like, on the CT side, you kind of need everyone to be chiming in. Otherwise, on the A side, you'll lose it quite easily. You need to trade 1-for-1s, and Cadian has been missing a lot of these entry kills towards T-Connect, and it just allows Bolts to come out towards Olafmeister and just do some further damage. They're straight out towards E-Box already. Wrath, he will fall very, very quickly, and now the A-site members under pressure from Flashbang as Zach also finds Shinobi. Vice just dancing around with a FAMAS, but what can you really do at this range? He finds one, but SHS is going to trade him out. Now down towards a 2-on-4. Once again, it is this A-bomb site which just cracks under the pressure time and time again. And Cadian and Hiko just need a save.
It's a bit of a problem when you have Wrath playing aggressively like that, and other people as well, is the fact that, you know, it's great when he's hitting his shots. He's winning you the game, more or less, but when he doesn't hit a shot and he gets, you know, killed by the entries from the T side, it's the complete opposite effect, so...
Has Cadian even got a single AWP kill in the CT half yet?
I don't think so, to be honest.
I legitimately cannot remember, and that's worrying because he's posted in the lines where the T's do come out from, and he just hasn't found anything. It just allows T-Connector control to go very easily in the favor of Immortals. They get control of, like, in my mind, it should be very difficult for the T's to get control of the, you know, of T-Connector. They shouldn't be allowed to come out very easily. It should either take a lot of damage or a lot of utility needs to be used. But none of those happen. You know, Bolts is just strolling out every single day, just like it's a Sunday afternoon walk at the park. Yeah. It really just makes it look that easy. He's just enjoying the sunlight. He's enjoying, okay, maybe you don't pop people's heads off when you go for a walk, but he's enjoying doing that at the moment in Counter-Strike.
I don't know, if I was Rogue at the moment, I'd be feeling a little bit robbed. Although they were fortunate to win that pistol round, the amount of clutches that have gone the way of Immortals.
I wouldn't say robbed necessarily. It's they've let themselves down on this A side hold. I mean, how many times do you see a team just execute so well on the T side, on the A side? They do the same thing. It's uninspired. It's so defensive. It's so passive. I want to see it, like, before it's hard to say now for them to go aggressive, but you look at what Immortals did, right? They tried to take T-Connector control, use early utility, you molly off Pop Dog to make sure Immortals can't take control of it, and then you try to force Immortals to be uncomfortable. But none of that's happened. They've just sat on the bomb train waiting every single time, and they've done it 3 or 4, 5 rounds. It hasn't worked. It's worked 1 or 2 rounds and hasn't worked 5 rounds. Does it mean it's an effective strategy? I don't think it is.
We'll see if they're going to make an adjustment.
Please do.
You are right, though. The passive style is really not working for them.
I like to see something change, you know, a few more flashbangs coming forward. I think Immortals will try to slow this down a little bit more and maybe go towards the B site, because they have really targeted the B site this round. And it might be a good idea to just single out Hiko right now, but I think Hiko is aware of the danger, and now Rogue finally making an adjustment. They've come up close to T-Connector, might be flashing each other in to get this control. Then they'll realize it's actually towards a B site. They need to start rotating a single member across, and Kaden, it's so crucial for him to help out Hiko right now, and Hiko is aware of the danger. Look at him just dancing around, waiting for the assistance before he decides to recommit towards the B bomb site. But Immortals been successful in splitting up 3-2, and they've been successful in taking a 4-person on the A bomb site earlier. I think 3 is going to be a lot easier if they do decide to go back there.
I've got a bad feeling about this. Katie needs to hit this shot, and we saw Peter in this position yesterday on match point. Oh, Hiko with 1, that high sensitivity lets him 1 for 1. He shouldn't have even got that one, to be honest. Kadian's not hitting the shots that he needs to hit. He does get flashed off. He gets 1, Wrath gets another one on the lurk. So 4 versus 2, Rogue needs to really not give the angles to these Immortals players. Go in together, get the trade out. They don't know Destiny is so close. He's going to pick up Shinobi and
no.
Vice. But it's a 2 versus 1. No utility for bolts. But I've seen him be so good in the clutch. No kit on the side of Rogue. Wrath's just waiting for the peek from Bolts. Oh, that timing. He literally taps it as Bolts peeks out.
That's
now
stolen.
It's all on Kadian.
That's been completely stolen on the side, and Kadian does not.
No,
But it's too late. You can't hit those shots because now Immortals have brought it back in towards overtime.
Oh my god. Those clutches from Bolts.
This is why I say you never count it until it's the 16th round. You can pull back the replay on YouTube right now. You can see me say, I don't think the odds should have swung that much.
No.
Because there is always the chance that Rogue somehow butcher it on a bomb site. All you need is 3 firing members on Immortals. Hey, guess what? There were 3 firing players. Steel, Bolts, and Destiny.
Exactly, and I mean, Destiny was pretty much the key player in that round. He got up so close to the CT side and got himself 2 kills. He needed to be traded quickly and efficiently. Rogue didn't have time to screw around. They didn't have a kit to work with, so when he creates that much space for Bolts, when he gets 2 in that scenario and they spend so much time just clearing him out, and then they have to run to the bomb site, it's all over at that point.
Alright, so in towards overtime. Both sides have 16k to play with, and it's just 3 per half for the rounds. And once again, they're going to take this T-Connected control. Destiny is aware of this fact. He's still going to be blinded out, though, and Vice will be able to take him out. But Bolts! Bolts taking out 2, so that is not worth it on the side of Rogue. At the very least, they tried something different.
They didn't choose to go in with the molly or smoke him out. He was just able to walk straight in past that T-Con entrance, which would usually just be, that angle would just be neutralized, and so that they could quickly grab that kill onto Destiny, but they're not dotting the I's and crossing the T's, unfortunately, Kev.
When you don't dot an I, what does it become?
It just becomes a line, and I was going to make a really bad joke about lines, but...
Yeah, fair enough. Let's not go there.
Oh god,
it's too early. It's too early for this, Billy. It's too early for this.
I'll tell you that.
Lines? You just mean geometry? Oh, tell me a good math joke. Good sir. I nearly stole your slipper. I'm not gonna lie.
It's not a slipper, mate. It's a thong. You should know this. You grew up in this
Americans don't know it. There's now Hiko's gonna find one with the AWP. He does get traded out by Zach. You normally don't see the coach with the AWP, but he's making it work out so far. Shinobi just dancing around. Zach needs to find this pick, and he does do so. Now it's all up to Kadian. He was able to get a few kills last round. Might be feeling a little bit better about himself this time around. Has the kit as well to work with. But the only thing that is ticking away is going to be time, and Zach is going to be incinerated off. He's taking a lot of damage. And Kadian That's two people to find, and at close proximity, he's found the AWPer. That's one taken out. He's also found Bolts! Huge play coming out from Cadian. Finally started to step up.
Where was that at 15-14, mate?
Where was that at 15x?
Where was that in the whole CT half? I think he just
at least
got
he's finally
more
waking up.
kills
At least he's finally
in
waking up.
OT than he did in the whole CT half, Kevin.
No.
Right.
He got 3 kills in the final round.
Alright.
He only got 2 then.
Well,
was still good.
That's a huge round from Rogue. And I think it's important to note that, although it wasn't really a factor because Immortals' strategy was so successful there, they will have sort of more chances to adapt to the T side of Immortals, as they've had plenty of rounds to play against it, and it was what got Immortals back into this game, I should say. So, Rogue really going to need to grind out these CT rounds, because I'm really not buying that they will need to sort of have too much success on their T side. It seems fairly successful before. I don't see a reason why it shouldn't be this time. And Zach did really great work in that last round to put Immortals in it, but nice little 1v2 from KD and wraps it up in a nice little boat.
Rogue now spread out on a 3-2 split across both sides of the bomb sites. You have to imagine at what stage will they get progressive, or they're just going to keep playing defensive. It looks like it's going to be defensive for now, and Cadian now in a dangerous position with the AWP. Before, it's kind of like, okay, Cadian is effectively a non-factor. He's not really picking up the crucial kills they need to do so, but now is his time to shine. Shinobi has to kind of hold off this B side. It's only one person. They've actually drawn 3 people across before they finally rotate back towards the A-bomb side. By the time that happens, it's too late. Wrath and Cadian already fallen. Destiny fast up, but he does not check the corner, and Vice will be able to find one. Steal, though, can't get the trade in time. And down towards a 2-on-2 once again. Zach going very aggressive with the AWP, going for the confidence plays. I like seeing it. And Bolts, he gets him completely blind. And Bolts gets 2 once again from the E-box position. I should just stop calling it E-box. I'll start calling it Bolts from now on, because this man has made the position his own. He's completely shutting down Rogue at every opportunity as soon as he gets there.
I mean, every E-box needs the Bolts to hold it together, and that's what he's doing for Immortals right now. Without him, I'm sure they wouldn't even be in this overtime.
Absolutely. It's just been a lot of sick plays overall for Immortals, but really, at the end of the day, Bolts' clutches have really stood them out.
I feel like Zach is like going through, you know, the coach mentality of how can I really help the team in this scenario? And he goes, oh, well, we've lost KNG and Henny. I'll just try to play like those guys and run at the opponent with the AWP.
I don't think even Bolts was like a bad player beforehand. We joke about supportive rifler, and then I say a support player like, you know, Cold Zero. As Bolts finally does get taken down, but SHZ now maybe he's starting to wake up as well. He's been relatively quiet overall in the entire match, but he's had a few rounds where he's found 1, he's found 2, and now Cadian also coming across. He managed to chain together a few jumps. He's going to accelerate his speed towards Ivy, but there's not much else he can really do, as it looks like he wants to push out and trying to make a hero play with the CZ. Does manage to do so successfully, but there's so many enemies stacked up at the end of this train, and just Destiny just pushes in. No fear whatsoever, and now it's all up to Hiko, the magician himself. He has a smoke ready, he has flashbangs to work with. The only thing he doesn't have is time and numbers. And he's been spotted out as well. He should be a dead man walking for sure. And there you have it. Zach will pick up the final kill of that half. Immortals will be going onto the CT side with a 2-1 lead.
Good job from them. Their CT side being quite strong as we saw again, or their T side rather, being quite strong as we saw in that second half, was their better side for sure. Apart from Kaden winning that 1-on-2. And I mean, you were saying Bolt's supportive rifler in, you know, the start of that last round, but mate, were you watching Immortals? Like, Bolts was pretty much their
entry,
contesting for their best player, if not over KNG. I mean, KNG was going pretty ham and having a pretty big impact, but in terms of consistency, Bolts was by far and away their best player. So I feel like Steel was on the more supportive side of things.
Okay, so now going towards a question which I think a lot of people have been thinking about recently in terms of the SK Gaming. Do you think potentially then SK will pick up Bolts still, or do you think they'll just keep the 5 lineup?
Hypothetically
Hypothetically for the next 15 seconds.
They'll keep their 5.
their 5.
Yeah, they'll keep their 5. We'll see. As Rogue now on the T side, it was their better side. Let's see if Immortals have had some time to warm up and have a little bit of a thunk about what happened to them.
Who would have thunk it as Rogue, they were in the lead, they were so close, but Immortals, just with a little bit more class and a little bit more firepower, been able to bring it back towards this point, and that's where it just starts becoming a little bit more scarier because they have the money to work with this time. Immortals, in that half, on their first ET half, didn't really have all the cash to work with. They were broken a lot of the time. You know, Rogue did really well resetting them, but you can't reset someone in overtime. Not in the ESL overtime. 16k for 3 rounds to work with. You can get almost anything that you want. SHZ, 1 for 1. It's pretty good so far. Now, Zach, oh no, he's going to be taken out quite easily by Katie and Steel. An old bomb train. This long rotate coming in from Destiny. This is going to be absolutely critical towards a late game. Shinobi does manage to find Steel as Bolt does leave the corner open. It's up to Destiny to find these picks. He's behind them right now. They're watching towards SL. He's got a silenced M4 as well. Perfect with backstab opportunities. Holding his fire, just making sure he finds out where his opposition is gone. And he has to let Bolts know exactly where the opponents are. Oh, Katie, and he'll miss the shot. The bomb's being dropped. They don't know where he is, except Hiko will step up towards the stop signs. He'll be able to take down Destiny. Destiny was in the best position possible, but he couldn't really complete anything at the end of the day. And Bolts completely blinded out. Now Shinobi will retrieve the bomb. 13 seconds left. They'll plant at the line. Hiko's watching the line. And Hiko, he will be able to land the kill. So Rogue will be able to pick up 1 round on the T side. Immortals have to win both to win overtime, otherwise we're going into the next one. Oh boy.
Down to 17, Hiko, mate. Do you want to cut it any closer there? Oh, especially going up against Bolts. That was such a risky plant. And he just has to, you know, harden up and hold the angle. Luckily he does it. Bolts wins another clutch against Rogue there. That would pretty much be it, I feel like. And they
Destiny
didn't do the
just played
contact
too patient.
What's that?
Destiny just played too patiently.
Yeah. Oh, somewhat.
I think it was good. Like, he made the right play. It was just a little bit unfortunate on this side that Hiko was a little bit more aware and was watching the, you know, watching the flank.
Contact in once again. Let's see if it works out or whether Immortals has found a response for this. They've got Destiny.
I'd say no.
Oh man, working once again. But I love how they don't throw it out straight away. Immortals definitely knowing that, you know, this was what was absolutely wrecking us in the first half. Let's make sure that doesn't happen again to us. Rogue throws a different strategy up against them and then gets those, you know, lurk kills out, those entries. This round's not over though. Immortals making it fairly competitive. Oh no, Katie, and don't throw that one away, mate.
Shinobi's managed to come close and steal. Oh, SHZ needs to be careful. And Wrath, oh, they just line up on the same angle. And it's not that hard when they're on the same X-axis. All you need to do is just move your Y-axis a little bit and you'll get 2 kills.
I don't think Wrath thinks about that very much. He just shoots him in the head, really.
Or is it the Z-axis I'm thinking about? No, they're lined up on the X-axis. Z-axis is depth. And I'm just confusing myself with geometry at the moment. As Rogue, it's taken a while, but it is once again a 1 match point for them to work with. And in recognition of the danger of the B-side contact play, they've just left Zach here, which is something I don't probably necessarily agree with.
Bolts rotating in, playing at Summit. Flash goes over the top, and Wrath goes jumping down once again. Not as quick to entry this time.
Gets 2, but Vice also falls. Cadian finally he steps up once again. He always steps up late. But better late than never, I guess.
Absolutely. Hiko and Cadian in the clutch. This is going to be a spicy one.
Especially whenever Hiko gets himself in these great positions and SHZ can't even put up a fight before he's taken down. This should be Rogue's round finally. Should be finally their map as well. It's taken them a while. It's taken them a grind for the CT half. I almost thought they threw it. They do manage to come back. And how does Hiko hit that bullet on the ladder? Like, absolutely ridiculous. Hiko will clean things up with the AK-47. Appropriate considering Hiko was able to bring them out of so many pressure situations. And close for Immortals. But I'd say that is... Can you really call that a victory for Rogue? It should have been cleaned up a lot faster. They definitely do need the points. But still, a victory is a victory. They'll take it.
it is, and OT, you know, splits up the points a little bit more, doesn't it? But, however, Hiko, huge game from him. Wrath also having a good one, and KDM picking it up towards the end of that one. Vice had a couple of pretty key plays, and Shinobi having a bit of a shocker, but in OT he actually got some pretty key entries, lurking at that IV position and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just
and
the impact frags.
Unfortunately, Bolt's winning about, 45 clutches is not quite enough to put Immortals over the top.
Yeah, it's a little bit heartbreaking for Bolts, but every single time it was effectively, Hiko would clutch one, then Bolts would clutch one. It was just, whenever you watch those two players try to complete the 1-on-X situation, it's just so... It's so fascinating to watch exactly how they maneuver, where they guess where the enemy is going to go, and so on and so forth. It's just really just showing how many years of experience, so like how many hours they have grinded out the game. I really want to see this Hiko shot. Imagine if you got Bolts as well. Yeah. That would have just been absolutely filthy. But Rogue started off so positively, it's 12-5. Immortals did finally reset it towards a 12-6. And then it just became a long slog where Immortals were able to reset Rogue every single time they were able to pick up one. I just still feel like they played too passively on the A side. And against a team with Immortals who have the correct executes, who have the correct strategies, and who have, players like Bolts and Steel and Destiny on form, you can't really do that. You have to try to take some map control. By the time they did it, it was too late.
I mean, look, I hate to sound like a broken record, but the economy mismanagement, that was a really unnecessary force buy in the middle of that CT half, and it really stopped them from getting the utility that they would have needed to grab that map control that you were talking about. They can't push up to SL or close E-box into the sandwich when the players are just allowed to fully stream out. There's no Molotovs to stop them. There's no, huge amounts of utility to really be able to stall out the round. So when Immortals is able to walk over Rogue and man, what am I going for here, Kev?
I don't know, what am I
letting
going
them go for whatever they want to do, basically. And, I mean, so many of those rounds came down to the clutch situations. And, we do talk about Hiko and Bolts in those regards, but there should be some special mentions towards Steel and Cadian as well.
Yeah, how does Bolt steal this? This was like the 1-on-3 where it's just like, they just peeked in one by one. Like, at this stage, it's like, Hiko just needs to lock down the angle, right? Why does he go down when Cadian is not ready to retake this position with him? And just bamboozling sometimes. Because they play so well, and there's just that one position where they decide to one-by-one peek the E-box area. Sure, it's a good line, but just wait for your teammate to back you up. If it's a missed shot, I can kind of go, look, you know what? Okay, it's a missed shot. Bad luck. Better luck next time.
They haven't been playing together that long. Like, Cadian, this is one of his first games in this lineup, so you can't give him too much of a hard time.
Yeah, the Molotov was not placed towards the correct angle, which allowed Bolts to get to. But at the end of the day, I mean, overtime, Rogue still do close it out. I mean, we are bagging on Rogue, but I guess it's because we saw Rogue play so well, and then they were let down by the CT side, which so many times we see teams these days let down by the CT side because the T side is actually very potent, very powerful.
Yeah. And I mean, we did see Destiny have a high fragging game, but especially towards the later parts of that game and the CT half, at the T half rather, like a lot of the kills he was getting weren't super impactful on the CT side. He was having some pretty sick impact playing aggressively, but towards the end of that game, it really was Bolts and even Zach pulling some big weight in the overtime. He was always alive in those XVXs doing some work. So absolutely,
and that's. I guess like that for me is kind of the story is just clutches. It's just whoever pulled their weight a little bit more, and it was just by a little bit Rogue. I felt like they had a little bit better because Wrath was stepping it up. Wrath had more high impact frags compared to Destiny. A lot of the frags Destiny did have weren't really high impact. I would even argue that SHZ had more high impact kills.
Yeah, he was getting some maybe entries on T again.
Yeah, on the T side, not on the CT side.
Yeah. I mean, you're completely right. Destiny was pretty much just hunting down those kills on the CT side. On the T side, didn't have too many important, entries on the T side. Whereas you look at Wrath, he's literally jumping through a smoke into the inner bomb site and getting a kill almost every time without fail, and opening up the round from his team. So, totally right.
Yeah, I think I'm bagging out Immortals pretty hard, though, because I think both sides played really well. It was a good game of Counter-Strike, a little bit of questions asked here and there, but teams will be able to, screw the little parts that we're just about to fall off. They'll be able to put it back on towards the boat and stay ahead. But we'll be going for a short break. We'll be back for map number 2 between Immortals and Rogue. And if it happens anything like we saw in Train, it is going to be an absolute blockbuster. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.